Hi, welcome to Kindred Spirit Readings. Let's begin Virgo. And just a quick side note before I begin. I have posted your 2025 yearly predictions. You can find those, all the links are in the description box for your convenience. Feel free to head on over there, have a listen, they're all there. And let's move into your week. I've got a couple of things here that are rather interesting. As soon as the new year came around, it really didn't take very long for you, Virgo, to realize. And before I go on, I just want to say that it's not to say that it's going to feel a lot worse. I'm referring to your relationships, to people that you have not seen in a long time, people that you're missing a lot. And then it could be that this is about work. If there was intensity in 2024, I will tell you that it didn't take long for you to begin to feel that intensity has doubled, if not tripled, in terms of how much more there is for you to get through, how much more you begin to feel for someone, if it is romantic, if it's based on romance or a love interest, someone you haven't seen. What's going to happen that if you were missing this person in 2024, you start to feel these feelings intensified tenfold. I'm talking through the roof. If it's a new job that you started and the amount of effort that you put in last year, or the workload, whatever it might be, all of a sudden you're noticing this year it just got a little more crazy. It was crazy last year. It's definitely double, if not triple that amount this year. Everything just became a little more crazy, and then it already was a good kind of crazy, but I feel that this is something that you may find you haven't really, perhaps you haven't done this before and you haven't dealt with this amount of intensity before. Intensity, obviously, what it feels like, but now, what is this? That it's the universe is saying now we're going to turn it up a notch. The universe is saying to you, I'm just going to throw in a little more chaos for you, just because. You could be reconnecting with Aquarius here. I'm seeing a female Aquarian show up here. This could be a relative, somebody you haven't seen in 2 years, in fact. It's rather interesting. You may know a handful of Aquarians that you haven't seen in a really long time. And there's something about your energy that attracts Aquarians to you, vice versa. You get along with them, you find them rather interesting. Aquarians are they're highly intelligent people, and there's so much about Aquarians that simply draws you in. Where do I even begin, honestly? But I feel that whatever you have been missing out on, whatever you missed out in the last few years, it's all coming together again. It's a great energy that they have, and it's something about you and Aquarius where you may have taken your time. You grew to love them, you grew to understand them better, and this did in fact take a little extra time. It didn't happen overnight, but whatever relationship you had started with Aquarius, or the number of Aquarians I'm seeing showing up here, it took a long time before you could trust each other, before you could offer more each time you would get together. But it was well worth it in the end, because you gained a lot of good friends, relationships, romantic, perhaps not romantic. There's a mix showing up here. Reminds me of not seeing someone that, this reminds me of not seeing someone that you really connected with on so many levels. You were friends, and then you would see each other every day, and then something happens, as life always does, and you don't happen to see each other for a few years, because sometimes that happens. And then when you do, you reunite. There's that spark. There's that, if it's a friendship, you just pick up where you left off, whether it's a love interest, whether it's a past lover, whoever it is, if it's your friend or family or whoever, or whatever they mean to you, you've grown to love them, and you cherish what you had with them, and that will never be forgotten. Let's talk about your health, Virgo. You're doing some amazing things. I have to say, I'm really impressed. A little bloated. I will say the tummy area has been it's been giving you a hard time. There's no doubt about that. And it's something that you find a little harder now to deal with. You haven't been able to, whether it's sleep at night due to the discomfort, but you're starting to notice, to recognize the potential is there all over again. You know, at some point you may have thought to yourself, oh, I can't do this if I try this. You know, what if I don't get through it? I feel that if you're doing anything which pertains to exercise, you've got somebody to do it with, you've got company. And if it's anything to do with, especially for those of you who are smoking, if you are quitting smoking, for example, you're finding it a lot easier this time around. I feel, and I see something about you, you haven't tried time and time again, it just never worked, and now all of a sudden, you know, we finally found a way out of this. Good on you. Thank you, Virgo.